Oh my god, there's like trucks coming or something. Let's get around the side.
You can spray paint, and I'll paint as many curse words as I can.
Kansas City is a place with a lot of history and a lot of abandoned buildings. And if you know me, you know I love a good bando. I wanted to visit the four most popular abandoned buildings in the KC area in one day. They are historically significant, and one is even said to be haunted. The first place we went to was the Wheatley Provident Hospital. It's in the 18th and Vine district of Kansas City, Missouri. We stumbled upon this place a few weeks earlier when we were doing a jazz history tour. I went home and did some research. According to the website failedarchitecture.com, it was built in 1918. The hospital was the first in Kansas City to employ and train Black medical professionals and also to treat Black patients. It closed in 1972 and it has since been used as a haunted house attraction, which is where the asylum sign came from. After that, it fell into complete disrepair. It has recently served as an informal refuge for homeless citizens and a canvas for graffiti artists. In an attempt to save the building from demolition, Wheatley Provident Hospital was added to the city's Register of Historic Places in 2007. As much as I love abandoned buildings, a place with a history this significant should really be turned into a museum or something. When we went back for this video a few weeks later, the door that we got in, it had been completely boarded up. So now the only way to get in was this hole on the side that was now bigger, and it went directly into the basement, but I wasn't going to go in there. It was super dark and all this cold air was being pushed out. It was creepy.
Why do all these animals look panicked as shit?
The second place we went to was also in the 18th and Vine district. According to Wikipedia, the city workhouse castle was built in 1897 as a jail for petty offenders such as vagrants and debtors. As part of their sentence, these prisoners were expected to work. The women sewed prison uniforms and the men labored for the city's public works department. The building itself was constructed using the labor of the prisoners, who also mined the limestone on site. In 1924, the jail closed and the building would be repurposed more than a dozen times until it was eventually abandoned in 1972.
There's a whole tree in here. door to nowhere.
Well, you can see it.
I highly recommend stopping into a jazz lounge while you're in the 18th and Vine district.
Super hard to get to, and it might be illegal, but we found the brewery.
The next abandoned building we went to was the Old Imperial Brewery. It was a little hard to get to. I realized later that if we had driven across the railroad tracks and parked on the other side, it would have been way easier. We pass this bando all the time. It's one of the most prominent buildings in downtown Kansas City. According to bizjournals.com, the 6-story brewery was built in 1902. The adjacent stables building once housed the mules and draft horses that pulled Imperial beer delivery carts. Sold to a flour milling company in 1919, old sifters, intricate conveyor systems, and 40 grain silos were removed under the most recent renovations. In 2012, there was a fire during the salvage process. It didn't get bad enough to damage the structural integrity. There is talk of it being turned into a hotel, apartment buildings, or another brewery. For now, it stands vacant, home to the birds and a great view of the city. Our last stop of the day was across the border into Kansas City, Kansas, at Sawyer Castle. The information I found on the Clio.com and Wikipedia read like a novel. Built by Anton Philip Sawyer in 1871, this beautiful home is listed in the National Register of Historic Places, sitting on the Shawnee Indian Trail that was part of the old Santa Fe Trail that many wagons passed. The Gothic mansion has a tragic and fascinating history. Due to numerous deaths on the property, it is also said to be haunted. The first death was an infant of Anton and Mary named Helen. In 1879, her father, Anton Sawyer, died of tuberculosis in the second-floor master bedroom, leaving the house to his wife, who committed suicide via hanging in 1919. This would begin the first of many ghost stories about this house. After that, daughter Eve made the mansion her family home. She had a daughter of her own with William Van Fossen before their marriage failed. Her second husband, businessman, landowner, and widower John S. Perkins, had 6 children when they were married. They later had 3 together. Tragically, due to declining health, John committed suicide with a handgun at age 73. In another tragic loss, one of their infant daughters drowned in the swimming pool on the west side of the house. 5 generations of the Sawyer family lived here until it was bought after Eve's death in 1955 by Paul Berry, who lived here until his own death in 1986. Because of the ghost stories surrounding the house, it was constantly trespassed and vandalized, which Berry and his dog fought off themselves. Bud Wyman bought the house in 1987, hoping to turn it into a bed and breakfast. He left less than a year after the purchase, and many claim that this is due to the haunting. In 1988, Carl Lopp, great-great-grandson of Anton Sawyer, bought the house with the intention of fixing it up and residing there to keep it in the family. However, this has proved to be a difficult task for Lopp, and he has only managed minor repairs such as fixing balconies and putting a large fence around the property. Carl Lopp's hired caretaker of the house was charged with felony theft in 1996 for stealing $30,000 worth of artifacts from the house, including a tractor, dress, chandelier, copper from the furnace, and wall sconces.
This is it. I can't go in because it's completely fenced off.
There have been a number of ghost stories, such as the previous family all being murdered there by the father, who then committed suicide. Some of the ghost stories associated with the house have included lights from the tower, crying and shouting coming from the mansion, or apparitions of a woman on the widow's walk. The legends keep people vandalizing the house, which keeps Lot from receiving insurance money.